on a beautiful snowy night, I have two of the coolest people in the Fairfield County. I really mean that. And I'm so happy to have them come back to talk about the very entertaining, fun, and sometimes hard to understand, but when it's understood, it's really great. And that is professional wrestling. So with that, welcome back to the show, Ryan Page. Also, my tweet cap. He's also a host of the tweet cap with me, but also good friend Ryan Page is back on the show. And we
Three
also
times,
have
baby.
yes, the third timer around for you. And then for the second time, we have my newest friend. Seriously, I really mean it. I genuinely think he's one of the coolest guys I know. And him coming back tonight just shows why. But Anthony Fernandez, welcome back to the Productive Conversations podcast.
What's going on? You brought the Jersey boys for wrestling?
Nothing but I had the best experts, and man, I wouldn't want to talk with anyone else right now. So, like I said, all wrestling for today's show. No prize questionnaire this time, but we have some other cool things in store. So, I guess before we get into anything, just tell me right off the bat, and then we're going to talk about the big, and then we're going to reflect on the big wrestling event that just ended out minutes ago. But we'll start with Ryan, then we'll go with AJ. Tell me, why do you like wrestling? Ryan, you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked it since I was a little kid. I stopped watching when I got a little older, and then in college, I started watching again. I was bored. I was studying in my room, flipping through channels. Monday Night Raw was on, and from that point forward, I was back in. But when I was younger, I actually knew somebody who was on the show, not as a wrestler, but as a character, and he played Trish Stratus's boyfriend when that thing with Mickey James,
wow.
the guy that they beat up a bunch and he got arrested. It was a whole thing. But he was my karate teacher. Jason Iannacone is his name. And so he told us all to watch. And so we did, because we were little kids. We're like, yeah, we got to watch Mr. Iannacone on TV. And from that moment on, I was like, this show is great. I have to watch it every week. And then I switched to SmackDown because I was young and my mom didn't like me staying up till 11 because Raw used to be 9 to 11. She didn't like that. So she was like, Friday nights, to 10 o'clock, we can handle. So I watched SmackDown for most of my childhood until I got a little older and I could choose what I wanted to watch.
All right. What about you, AJ? What got you into wrestling?
Honestly, while Ryan was talking, I was trying to think of just a reason why, but I just can't think of one. It's yeah, ever since I can like think at all in my life, it's just been there. So,
that's still a great reason, for me, I'd have to say I remember when I was really young, like 6 or 7 years old. I don't know. I was just visiting my dad in his room and flipping through channels, and like again, this I guess would be either 99 or 2000. Well, that would make me more 4 or 5, but yeah, so 4 or 5 years old, and I remember the very first time I saw The Rock do what I would learn to be a promo. That's genuinely the first time, the very first image. I was like, wow, not knowing that wrestling was a thing. I just saw this dude just kill on the mic. I'm like, who's that? And that first got me into wrestling for a bit. And then like around 2005, like 5th grade, my youngest brother or my middle brother, Bridden, liked it. And then I just hopped on the wave, John Cena, all that cool jazz.
Of course.
Then I stopped watching in about high school. Like
Same.
It was the last match I remember watching someone on the reg was the Undertaker Shawn Michaels
Really?
WrestleMania 26, the career-ending match.
Oh wow.
That's when I stopped. And then I didn't watch in high school, didn't watch I paid attention briefly when The Rock came back because that's my guy still. I mean, he's right here.
That's the man.
And then after that, I was in college. I was pledging a fraternity at the time, and we were just doing some stupid rush thing or pledging thing. And somebody mentioned like, oh, dude, The Undertaker, his streak ended. And I had no reference to wrestling whatsoever. And I was like, wow, I knew like, man, that's really crazy. I didn't know that. And then I that's what brought me back. That I saw Roman Reigns doing a workout video. One of the main reasons why I started taking fitness seriously was because of him, and I've been hooked ever since. And don't plan to change. So, as we see all over the place with our wrestling fandom, but it brings us here together. So, speaking of wrestling, and we'll get more into wrestling in general, but one of the probably the main thing bringing us here today is one of wrestling's biggest events, if not, they say WrestleMania, obviously the big one, and they say SummerSlam's second biggest, but then I think the Royal Rumble is something that everyone enjoys, casual fans, hardcore fans, even I got my younger brothers watching it today because the Royal Rumble is just such an interesting event. So Royal Rumble
Like Thanksgiving football.
Literally, man. Family comes together. It's a nice, sweet thing. So, I mean, why don't we talk as a whole on the Royal Rumble first? Then we'll quickly go into each match.
Okay.
And then we'll hop it from there. So, AJ, tell me as a whole, how'd you feel the 2021 Royal Rumble went?
Not like how I expected it to be. You know what I mean? Like Edge won. I did not see that coming at all. But I don't know about you guys, but I kind of felt like it was a little bit shorter, like as a whole pay-per-view.
Oh, it was super short.
Yeah, I feel like it was a lot shorter than the usual ones that we've been getting, like the 3-hour ones and stuff like that. But I don't know why.
Yeah, it felt super short. It was quick.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite matches though of the night was probably Roman and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Paul Heyman did his best to ruin that match, but it didn't work. It still was a really good match.
Yeah, the referee had to stop the count too.
Yeah,
that was
I thought Roman was gonna knock out another referee. I was like, what are they gonna do? Swipe his legs out from under him or something, or Kevin Owens is gonna accidentally hit him.
Come closer.
Yeah, hey, you
surprise.
Crazy. They tore the house down that night though. Tonight.
Yeah, they did.
A lot of fun.
Absolutely insane.
And what do you think, Ryan, as a whole for the event? Then we'll go through each, so we don't have a lot of matches to go through.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was very good. I think 2018 and then I think last year were both better. But like these last 4, 2018 through now, have been really good Royal Rumbles, like 4 in a row. So they're in good company. I don't think it's like this one was markedly different or worse than those. I thought it was kind of short on the star power of like the returning guests.
Carlito and Christian
personally. No, I liked Carlito. I thought that was cool. I mean, but when Carlito was probably
jacked.
He is, yeah. No, he came back looking great. But like when Carlito's one of your biggest surprises, to me that feels like Christian too, and obviously that worked well with Edge being the winner this year. So I don't know, the women's one in particular, Victoria and I think Jillian, those are the only 2 people. Everyone else was NXT. I'm like, what is Lita doing? But in everything. Beth Phoenix works for the company, as an announcer on NXT. Just be like, hey, lace up.
Don't have to go
even
that
just
long.
for a minute. You know what I mean? Like just for a couple minutes, just go in there, get the big star power thing. I mean, like I said, the Jillian Billie Kay was funny or whatever, but like I felt they were low on the star power, which whatever, is fine. They had Edge win, so maybe they didn't want to have a lot of old timers when they knew Edge was going to be the winner. Sure. I'm an Edge head, by the way. I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I love Edge. He was my favorite wrestler until he retired. And actually, right around when Edge retired is when I just stopped watching. And it wasn't until my new favorite wrestler, who's also not with the company anymore, I saw him, and that's what brought me back in. But yeah, when Edge retired, I stopped watching until someone else drew me back in. So.
And who was that wrestler for AJ to find out in the audience?
Oh, it's Jon Moxley. He went by Dean Ambrose in WWE, but he's on AEW now as Jon Moxley. So I left with Edge, and I was brought back in by Dean Ambrose and The Shield.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I just randomly watched him on commentary one day. I was like, who the hell is that? And I just kept watching from that point. So, but yeah, no, I left with Edge because I was like, oh, my favorite wrestler's done. So to see my favorite wrestler win after, 11 years after winning his last Royal Rumble was kind of cool. I know some people are going to be mad because he is 47 years old. but I mean, he's in great shape, and this is probably his last one. Oh, yeah, no, it's probably his last one. He's not going to do this full time. He, as much as he probably wants to make up for all those years that he couldn't do it. I think he knows that
Just one more
After
run.
this, he's going to be a special attraction every once in a while. Maybe another quick appearance in a Rumble. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a weird like cinematic.
Hopefully he's not
match.
a Goldberg.
Yeah,
Hopefully
we'll
he's
get
not
to
a Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Yes,
Oh,
we
man.
definitely will.
Goldberg is the worst. The absolute worst. I can't name anybody worse than him.
Well, I think that's a good transition to start with the individual matches. Why don't we start with the opening match? Well, technically, but we'll get to the other pre-match. But we had the WWE Championship first. Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg, with Drew McIntyre defeating Goldberg in an official time of 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
It's the longest Goldberg match in like 10 years.
Yo, AJ, you have some cool opinions I could tell on this. Talk to me about how you're feeling with that and like Goldberg in general.
Goldberg is ass. No other way around it. I didn't like him when he was back in the WCW days. I don't like him now. I never liked him. So it's kind of hard for me to give any opinion on that match. I'm happy Drew McIntyre just like went after him in the beginning of the match, shows aggressiveness. But besides that, I was just happy to see Goldberg lose.
All right. Ryan, you told me before this you expected Drew to drop the belt to him.
Yeah.
So you must have been pleasantly surprised.
I was over. That's not true. I predicted the pre-show correctly, and I predicted the SmackDown Women's Championship correctly. Mm-hmm. So I got 2 right, and I missed the other 3 by like a mile. So I was very confident that Goldberg was going to just destroy Drew McIntyre. I thought that it was set up for that. I'm glad it didn't happen. I wanted Drew to win. I just didn't think he was going to. The last time I genuinely enjoyed Goldberg was when he came back and just cut Brock Lesnar in half with a spear. That was awesome. I loved every second of that because it was, finally seeing Brock Lesnar get what he was been doing for 2 years at that point. But he can't even do the jackhammer aneyore. I mean, which is fine.
54 years old.
Yeah, no, listen, he's in better. I'm in wrestling shape like Paul Heyman, so that's my wrestling shape. So I'm not critiquing the fact he can go 2 minutes. If I could go 2 minutes, that would be a miracle. But I mean, for one thing, stop trying to do the jackhammer. He keeps dropping people on their head or on their leg or on their shoulder, and that's how people get hurt. And we don't need Drew McIntyre to get hurt. So I don't know why he keeps going for the jackhammer. It's ridiculous. He has a spear. Frankly, he only needs a spear. Either he's going to win with a spear or he's going to lose the match. We don't need to see him potentially hurt somebody. But he's not fun to watch anymore. He's a big name, so I guess good for Drew McIntyre. He beat somebody who has like legitimate star power. I mean, he's beat Brock Lesnar and he's beat Goldberg, so I don't really know what happens next. I really thought, I'm like, okay, so Goldberg will win and then Drew will fight him at WrestleMania, but who goes next? Like, everything is a step down from this, except for maybe Brock Lesnar again, which we literally saw last year in Florida.
Is he under contract?
Brock Lesnar.
I think he's always under contract. You did just pay him money.
I was surprised we didn't see him tonight. I thought we would get some.
No, why would we see him? There's no fans.
I don't know. That's the part of the surprise.
It's probably snowing where he is. He's on.
We got to see a hurricane.
We got to see the hurricane.
I mean, the GOAT himself.
Exactly who we asked for.
He was my pick.
The best choke slam in the business.
Mine personally was Elias. That character makes me.
Were you serious? You really thought Elias would win?
No.
Okay,
I'm just like, he lasted longer than I thought. I think he even got an elimination. Good man.
Yeah,
Riddle lasted a lot longer than
Riddle did really well.
I actually do like Matt Riddle. He's such a bro. Just
who's Matt Riddle?
Around.
You mean Riddle?
Oh yes. Technically now.
He doesn't have
drop that.
Silly Matt.
Oh man, but one thing, last part with this, as we talk about last part of the championship matches. I mean, for years, WWE's been criticized for holding on to nostalgia too much, and it seems this was an obvious example of it. And then tonight's men's Royal Rumble which we'll definitely get into. But you think, will there ever be a day WWE will stop doing this, trusting the old person? I mean, no. it even. I'm sorry, you're saying?
I was gonna say no, but then I'm thinking about it. Eventually, the old people they bring back now will physically be unable to compete, and they're not building anybody new. So eventually they'll be forced to not use old people because there won't be any old stars because they're not building any. which is untrue, of course. There will always be at least a few old stars, and they'll always go back and use them. I actually heard, though, that WrestleMania 37 is going to be like nostalgia on steroids. They've already booked a bunch of old timers to be on the card somewhere.
That
John
would be this
Cena is
upcoming.
apparently a
That'd be this
lock.
upcoming. That
Yeah.
would be this upcoming WrestleMania.
Yes.
Mhm.
Apparently Cena is a lock. Goldberg is a lock. Brock Lesnar is under, just like, they're trying to bring back everybody.
Is it
So-
The Rock coming back?
I don't think so. Why would The Rock risk dying in a pandemic? He doesn't need this.
Yeah, I think that's just trying to make money up from the sales, like with tickets and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I think they're gonna have people. They're gonna try and have people for that one. So
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if the Super Bowl
Yeah.
can have him, might as well have them.
same
too.
stadium, right?
Yeah, exact same. So they're riding it out. So all right. Do you have anything else to add to that, AJ? Regarding the nostalgia factor being held on too much, or Drew as champion?
If you guys didn't see, did you guys see on Raw Talk when Mustafa Ali, he was talking about like old timers like
I
paving
thought
the
he'd do
path.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali was talking about how all these old timers are paving the path and how we spend 3 hours on Raw dedicated to all of these old guys
hmm
and how they paved the path, but when are they gonna let the new guys walk on it?
When the new guys don't have names like Slapjack,
Yeah.
it'll be approximately when that happens.
And I think when Triple H finally starts running over everything instead of just NXT, I think that is when we'll start kind of seeing something like that,
Yeah.
if any.
I hear you. I hear that. So, we also hit on the pre-match, which was the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeated
Baszler.
excuse me, defeated. I always mess this up. Azuka and Charlotte Flair. How we feel about Asuka? Okay, no more mispronunciations. But Asuka and Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair with we have brand new women's tag team champions. We liked what happened. Do you think it was a good match? We have the weird Lacey Evans, Ric Flair waiting for that disgusting kiss.
I don't even.
Pick
Yeah.
they're definitely gonna have. Oh man.
I mean, what was the
when
purpose?
that happens? I thought it was gonna happen there, but
no, it wasn't gonna happen there. It happened like WrestleMania or something. They're gonna make that a big moment, I'm sure, because Ric Flair's in it. But I mean, I just gotta say, why did Nia and Shayna lose? So the last champions before Asuka and Charlotte were Nia and Shayna, and then they lost. Okay, fine, but we knew that Asuka wasn't going to be doing tag team stuff this whole time. She's the Raw Women's Champion.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, anyone who's watched wrestling in the last however many years knows that Charlotte Flair is not going to get stuck doing tag team stuff. So, we just knew that they weren't going to use that. We knew they weren't going to be champions come WrestleMania. So why would you even put the titles on them? And then when you did, why would you put the titles back on the people that they beat? Now they're just the champions who lost to Asuka and Charlotte already. It just doesn't make sense. And I like 4 of the 3 women in this match, by the way. Like my favorite wrestlers on the roster in terms of on the roster, period. But it was just dumb that they did what they did. I'm glad that they got the title off of Asuka and Charlotte so those two can fight, or apparently Charlotte's going to be fighting Lacey Evans for some reason. I guess Charlotte doesn't like her new stepmom. I don't know. But for whatever reason, they've decided that that's a big match. Asuka, of course, is a champion, so she will have something at WrestleMania. But I don't know. It just didn't make any sense. I'm glad that they got the titles off of Charlotte and Asuka because they needed the titles to be taken off of them. But it was dumb that they put them on them to begin with. They didn't need them. They could have just fought each other for a couple weeks and everyone be like, oh, cool, Charlotte's back. And then Lacey could be kissing on her dad and we'd be exactly where we are now. But, I mean, Nia and Shayna wouldn't look like, punks for 3 or 4 weeks.
Completely agree.
I mean, how many times has WWE gone to this real life dad or mom? They did with Troy Wilson's dad.
Eddie Guerrero's son.
Eddie Guerrero.
He was in the match. He was in the match.
Kurt Angle had a son.
Kurt Angle had a fictional son. Yeah.
He did. Yes. It's actually
Jordan.
it's been a popular meme. It's been seen before. Like, WWE used to be crazy, where the ladder match of a human child was decided in a ladder match. for that too. And then we also seen the Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio's daughter and Dominic's sister macking in front of him.
Murphy, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Aleister Black.
Oh,
Murphy, I'm a
excuse
fan of, but man, they need to start using him better.
He's a 34-year-old man. She is 19.
me. Yeah.
It's creepy
It's
no
so-
matter how you put
It's
it.
so weird. It's
It's
so
just-
weird.
Unless they listen, at this point, just pretend he's not 30. Just like go out of the way to be like, yeah, this young 20-something, just pretend. He's in great shape. I'm sure he wouldn't mind pretending he's 20-something, but like he's 34 years old. Like that's just and because that's common knowledge, it's creepy. They had to make it very clear that he's not supposed to be 30, but they didn't do that. So now we have to just accept that Ray's 19-year-old daughter is dating a 30-something-year-old man. And
Are they
he's cool with
still-
it.
Are they still running with that on TV?
I mean, sort of. He's
Yeah.
he's with the Mysterios now, but I don't know if like they don't do any of the kissing or whatever like they were
Yeah.
doing.
Oh,
But yeah, he's
boy.
still a part of the Mysterio tribe.
WWE's been weird with their kisses in the past. Oh man.
What a good. That should be quoted.
They've
From
been
Matt
weird with their
Brown.
kisses.
WWE's weird with their kisses.
They are weird with their kisses though.
You'd think what genuine love stories could you cheer for? I guess the Randy Savage Miss Elizabeth, and that's back in the
Yeah,
Oh,
we were
yeah.
around for that, but
that's
yeah.
pushing 3 decades, 4 decades.
Triple H and
What,
Stephanie.
you don't you
Yeah.
weren't a big fan of Lana and Dolph Ziggler?
That
wasn't a big one?
No, I like Lana and Rusev. I'll tell you that. It shows
Lana
that
and
a
Miro?
guy- What?
Lana and Miro.
Lana and Miro. Come on, get it right.
Lana and everybody. Oh man. I forgive if I mess up on the names, but
Well, you don't watch AEW, right? Not really.
Not really.
So you don't catch the new names.
I missed that one, but
Yeah, Rusev on AEW. His name is Miro now.
Which
Oh,
I think
Miro
is like his real
Yeah.
name or his real last name. or
Oh
something.
yeah, it's his real last name.
and Lana's real last name.
Yeah.
I've always
Did she
wondered
change
what's
her
it
name?
like to be a couple in different wrestling promotions, especially if you're
Yeah,
in
it's gotta
AEW,
be weird.
WWE. It's gotta be awkward.
Hopefully Renee Young, or they'll probably call her something else. Shows up in AEW soon.
AJ mentioned that Triple H is Stephanie. Were you cheer for that?
No, he drugged her
Yeah,
on
that
TV.
is-
He drugged her.
Oh,
It's not consensual.
He drugged her and
They're
then
married.
married her while she was passed out in his car.
how could
This
they-
was
how
I don't
could you
remember
say
if
that
this
to your
was
kid?
before or after he had relations with a corpse. Triple H has a sordid love
With
history.
Kane,
Oh yeah, sorry, that was
the whole
Kane. My bad.
situation. The whole Kane
You want
situation. It's so
you want to know
weird.
the very first night, I swear this, the very first episode of Raw I remember was when Edge beat John Cena Money in the Bank, and I tell Ryan this joke because it's just in the history of genuinely, and I know a lot about TV.
Oh yeah, I know where you're going.
This is genuinely the craziest thing I've ever heard any scripted TV show put
I
on
think AJ just figured out where you're going too.
the airways is the live sex celebration from Edge and Lita, where they had sex,
Insane.
simulated sex in front of a whole arena of people of all ages.
John Cena was the babyface champion.
Eh,
He's like, what do I do here?
Ric Flair was in that one too. Ric Flair likes to get kinky. That's what Ric Flair
Oh,
likes. He likes
yeah.
kinky.
I mean,
I think
He-
we've proven that now.
just the sound bites for life I could get. Like, we're gonna have a live sex celebration. What?
Michael Cole, not Michael Cole, JR at the time. He was pumping it up too. He was getting people
JR's the
ready,
man.
getting people ready to watch.
It's just all the writing process, just the scripts alone saying you're gonna say this.
Yeah,
Anything.
who pitched that? That's what I want to know. Was that a
Live
completely Vince
sex
McMahon idea, or was that like one of the junior writers? It's like, what if Edge and Lita just banged each other in like
on TV
in
so they buy
celebration?
it.
How would people know? We'll put it on TV. Oh,
So-
excellent.
If you want to watch people have sex, I feel you should do it in your own comfort, in your own home, quietly.
But you
nobody
could do it in
around.
an arena full of people, Matt. Come on.
I mean, I don't know. If I had my if I had my choice to have sex with the girl I'm in love with in front of a arena full of people, I think that'll be something I keep between us to grow a relationship.
You don't want Ric Flair and John Cena to interrupt?
Man, no, I don't want anyone. I've had my
That
dad
might be
interrupted
interesting.
once.
I might be okay with that.
I've been interrupted once by my father. I don't want to deal with that again.
I
True story.
mean, if I was ever in a situation in front of a whole stadium, I would just go buy a farm and sit there like Thanos. Like I've done it. There's nothing else to do in life.
I mean, the only time I've seen so real
I'd be
life,
the man.
literally more of AJ than man. Just that's a flex. And the only time I've ever seen a live sex celebration was in the parking lot of Kohl's where I worked.
That wasn't live.
Oh wow! I mean,
That was off
in real
camera.
time. Yes, in
Real time,
camera.
yeah.
You ever see any real life sex celebrations in the city, AJ? Not even honestly now or Ryan or anywhere.
Oh yeah, by the what's it called? It happens all the time at
What?
what's it called? The pond by my
Woods
parents' house.
Woods Pond,
Yeah,
in
they park in
Norwalk.
that little parking lot all the time.
Oh yes, it happens all the time. All the time.
Yeah,
About it.
You
yeah.
can tell. It's either. I mean, they're either hotboxing. If the car's not moving, it's hotbox. If it is moving, then it's not that.
If it's that steamy, it's moving.
Exactly.
It is.
You can either see through the windows or you can't. It's that simple.
Jesus. Oh man.
Crazy.
What a time. What a time. But transition from our next match, we could talk about Sasha Banks and Carmella going up against each other for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha Banks, in a pretty entertaining match, wins it. What do you think about that? Why don't we start with Ryan with Reginald? Not simping enough for her, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get why Carmella had a second match with Sasha. It was fine. They did a good job. It's hard because they don't have anyone. Like, they have Bayley, which we've seen for like 4 years, it feels like. We've seen Bayley versus Sasha or Bayley with Sasha, or you know what I mean? So, other than Bayley, though, I mean, there's no one who's really entertaining to go against. I mean, they got Bianca, which we'll get to.
Yep.
Now, but there's really not any like women on SmackDown. They're all on Raw. They
It's
are.
ironic,
Alexa's
too,
on Raw, Asuka's on Raw, Charlotte's on Raw, Becky is technically on Raw. Like, they're all on Raw.
Yeah, and even with the big Friday Night SmackDown jump on on national TV, and oh well.
Yeah, they got other people. I mean, Roman Reigns is on SmackDown, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's a particular women's wrestler who they'd probably bring to SmackDown if she ever decided to come back. Although the closer we get to having fans, the less likely it is that she'll come back. And that's
that?
Ronda Rousey.
Oh,
But,
yes.
Yeah, no. Other than like I said, which I almost thought Ronda would show up tonight because I'm like,
I did too.
Who's gonna fight Sasha? I mean, apparently it's Bianca Belair, as we found out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's no one on SmackDown that is really actually ready for a main event match with Sasha. I don't think Bianca's going to get a. We'll wait till we get to that match, but
For sure.
yeah. So I mean, Carmella's the only person they had. I would have liked to see her in the Rumble because I think she could have done better, and it could
Well,
have.
she was in
been
the
more,
Rumble briefly.
Yeah, briefly, but they didn't let her do a lot because she had already had a match. I would like to see her do more in the Rumble, I guess is a better way to put it. Because I think they could have built her actually, she's a good wrestler. I like Carmella. She came back and was immediately like, you can't touch me. And then Sasha beat her up. So there goes that. And then they fought twice and she lost. Whereas if she'd been in the Rumble, they could have built her up a little bit, give her some eliminations. Reginald could have been a little bit better at, his job as a sommelier and as her guardian angel there, but it's all right. I thought it was good. It was a really good match. I thought Sasha did really well. Obviously, Carmella did her job, which is good. And now Sasha gets to move on. They won't get a Snoop Dogg for WrestleMania this year because he's working with AEW, but they'll figure something out.
Womp. How'd you feel about the match coming into it, AJ, and how do you feel now?
I mean, I feel the same way Ryan did. Like the first match was okay. This match was also okay. I liked it a lot just because their wrestling styles mixed a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But strictly story wise, there's nothing there. And I'm also going to agree with Ryan that there's not a lot of people on SmackDown that could kind of go after Sasha that I'd look at and be like, all right, she's a real threat. You know what I mean? But good match overall. I think right now what they're doing until there is a threat to come up, I think they're just gonna build Sasha up to be like this nice, like real, well built champion.
Yeah, when I worked for MTV, I saw Sasha at TRL. When I worked for that
Really?
show.
Just
Yeah,
before she was a big star, though. Now she's a
yeah,
big
pretty
star.
much. I remember it
That's
was
a nice
tough.
flex.
It was tough. No offense to Sasha, it was tougher. I knew the show was on the way out when the number one guest was a
Sasha?
upcoming WWE
Sasha
star.
Banks.
Yeah, but now if you get Sasha Banks, it's actually a pretty big guess. She's been
Yeah,
on The
Yeah,
Mandalorian
she's in
now.
Star Wars and everything.
Yeah.
man, I know it's tough. Too bad 2017. It was a little 4 years.
You got her a little too early. You're too ahead of your time, Matt.
When I worked at there, you know who I also saw? The Miz.
Well, he is.
Mike
He's a thing.
Mizanin?
Yeah.
The man.
I'm like just as tall as him. I thought, like, no offense.
I just recently
Right,
rewatched in preparation for this and the Rumble and all that stuff. Rewatched a bunch of Rumbles and Manias, and I rewatched the Miz "Hate Me Now" intro for WrestleMania. And man, if you just watched the intro to WrestleMania and you didn't watch anything else, which is what I did this time. Obviously, I watched it for real, or I've seen all the lead up, so I know the shenanigans around Miz in the championship. But if you just watched Miz enter the WrestleMania match, you would think he was a huge deal. That was such a good package. And like when you think about it, Miz has a main event at WrestleMania that he won.
Like one of the best jokes ever.
That he got a concussion at.
Well, but it happens.
Oh man, WrestleMania main events: CM Punk 0, The Miz 1.
One.
Oh man.
Man. Do you guys remember John Morrison and the Miz, the dirt sheet?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Man, I live for
when
that.
he did the little rooster head when
Yep.
he came out.
Yep.
That tag team was super good. I mean, I liked Eminem. They were fun.
That was
And
one
then I
of
liked Miz and Morrison the first time when they were doing their first
In the
first
Rumble,
run.
In the Rumble, they did like a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They did a
And then
team
I
up,
was
yeah.
like, I remember I backed up. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I gave me flashbacks to like the old days.
And then WWE got its
insane.
huge mainstream moment when the biggest music star literally in the world, Bad Bunny, jumps on top of them.
It was fun.
I've saved a special Bad Bunny section to talk.
Right.
Let's get into
You
that.
sound so excited.
Hell, he's genuinely one of my favorites. Artists. He was
The
in my
man.
top 5. He was in my top 5 Spotify artists, and like anyone who for now, as I gotten older, we'll talk about this. It's not such a how do I say it? Like, it's like when you say you're a wrestling fan, it's like when I was saying a Nick fan, it's like judgmental and stuff. But not now, as the years have gone by, it's getting
Manuel quickly.
pretty cool. Yeah, that's my guy. And oh shit, I just lost my train of thought. And like now I can say Bad Bunny. Spotify's top artist did a spot.
Well, he's clearly a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He has
has
a
a song
song called
called
Booker T. So
Think
like,
about it. If we can
clearly a
have,
fan.
if we can
Him and
have,
Wale.
yeah, we'll get into that in the quick Bad Bunny section. But why don't we get into the Women's Royal Rumble as the next match? In a time of up and comers, I mean, as you said, mostly up and comers, mostly NXT, but for the most part, I thought this entertaining match won by Bianca Belair. I needed help with this.
Belair, right?
It is
Belair?
Bianca Belair.
Belair.
Yes, Bianca
Like Fresh
Belair.
Prince.
Bianca Belair wins the Women's Royal Rumble, taking out Rhea Ripley from all the way from almost pretty much going the distance at number 3.
Mm-hmm.
AJ, how are we feeling about Bianca Belair winning this top prize? And you think this is a major push for her?
I mean, going into this, I had nobody like in mind that I wanted to win or who I thought was gonna win. I was just kind of to see like, who could be the next big threat for Sasha, basically, or Asuka.
Yeah.
And Bianca Belair is very, very impressive. And I was actually watching with my dad, right? And he hasn't watched it in like God knows how long. And he said he was most impressed with was Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. That's what I thought coming into this was Rhea Ripley was winning this, but it just Bianca was just so flexible and moving around. There was some great storytelling within that. Ryan, you told me you thought Alexa Bliss was
I did have a pick,
and she got
did the opposite.
She got
The literal opposite of winning.
She got jumped. She got jumped. That's
I
what happened.
think the jump I actually didn't mind the fact that she got jumped. I thought it was perfect. But we'll start with, obviously, I was actually more impressed with Bianca Belair last year. And I think that's partly because I had never seen her before.
Mhm.
I'm not a big NXT. I watch NXT on occasion. I have a few
Same.
favorites, and when I find out that they had a big match, I will watch it. Melissa, my girlfriend, her favorite wrestler is Finn Balor. She was devastated when Finn decided to go back to NXT, but on occasion we will watch like an NXT title match that Finn is in, so that way she can still see Finn Balor, and that way she doesn't just stop watching wrestling with me altogether. It's a bit of a compromise, but so I had never seen her before last year, and she was also the Iron Woman last year, and she did amazing. I thought last year the only person who did better than her was Shayna in last year's Rumble. So I was more impressed then, but I think a part of that was because I had no expectations. Whereas this time I knew that they were going to I knew that she was going to go the whole distance. I didn't know if she would win, but I knew she was going to be there for a long time. I knew she was going to do some crazy stuff. So I guess it wasn't maybe as much of a surprise, but no, I thought Alexa was going to win. And they jumped her. And Melissa's like, wow, they're jumping Alexa. I'm like, no, watch, the lights are going to go down. And they did go down, but they didn't go down when I thought they would. I thought when everybody was around her, that's when the Fiend like do, and then come back up. Alexa will have the black on because everybody would be there to cover her. But then they all like left, and then it happened. I'm like, what the hell is that about? And then Rhea Ripley threw her out. So I mean, I don't know why. I'm gonna go out and say this: the most entertaining feud on Monday Night Raw is Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss. Just period. Nothing else is nearly as entertaining as that. Now that Goldberg is gone, perhaps Drew McIntyre's next feud will be entertaining, especially if it's with Edge. But there's, not a single thing on that show is more interesting than what's going on with Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss. So I really did think that they were going to give Alexa Bliss, at the bare minimum, more than a minute and a half in the Royal Rumble. And then when they threw her out, I was convinced she was showing up in the men's. Like, I was like, there's no way they're going to throw her out in a minute and a half, and that's the end of the story. And then that's what it was. So very disappointed in that. I guess I was also kind of disappointed that Jillian and Victoria were the only people they could get back. I mean, Jillian wasn't even really
Victoria Wilson came back too.
But she's been really arrested.
No, she did the singing with JBL. She was his image consultant. Remember, she had the wart on her face that the boogeyman just ate off. That was so freaking gross. But I remember Jillian. I was like, oh, good, Jillian. But I was like, Jillian's gonna wrestle, and I was like, all right, maybe she'll be in for a little bit. And then her and Billie Kay did like a double team on everybody. It was very strange what they were doing with that. But like I said, they didn't have very many big names. Yes, they did have Tori, but they've already had Tori a couple times.
Former Miss A-Rod.
What?
Former Miss A-Rod. Former Miss A-Rod.
Oh, yes. Former Miss A-Rod. Yeah. But no, it just, again, not a lot of star power, but it was a lot of young people. They had like Shotzi Blackheart. They had Santana Garrett from NXT too. So they had a lot of NXT people, which was cool, I guess. But we'll see. I feel bad for Bianca Belair though. She's not gonna beat Sasha.
You don't think so? You don't think this is a good chance to?
Why would they take the belt off of Sasha right now to put it on Bianca?
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is, I mean, they're both good guys, so that doesn't make right away. That doesn't make any sense.
But wait, can't Bianca choose either if she wants Asuka or?
Yeah, but Asuka again. They're all three of the people. The challenger and both champions are all faces. So none of it makes sense. The only thing I can think of is A, they're going to screw Sasha over and Bayley's going to win it at Elimination Chamber, which is possible. Or B, Bianca is going to get goaded by Bayley to have like a match. And if Bayley wins, she gets added and it becomes a triple threat. I could see that happening. And that way Bayley gets pinned by Bianca or by Sasha. So the other one doesn't have to lose. And that way there's a bad guy that we can all be against. But basically I don't see any way that match can happen without Bayley. Either one-on-one against Bayley, Bianca versus champion Bayley, or a triple threat, Bianca, Sasha, and Bayley. I don't see them doing Bianca versus Sasha. Neither one of them should lose right now. And obviously a one-on-one match, one of them has to lose to the other. So I feel bad. I know a lot of people really wanted to see Bianca win. I think if they were going to do a triple threat match, they should have had Bianca go the distance, get tossed out by someone, preferably Alexa, because then I would have been right. And then just earn the title or earn an opportunity for a triple threat match. Because I mean, it's not a big thing now. She won the Royal Rumble, and she's gonna have to share her spotlight, kind of like Becky did. But at least that was the main event. And I don't know if they're gonna main event WrestleMania night 1 or night 2 with, Bianca, Sasha, and Bayley. I don't know if they see.
It's a 2-night event.
Yeah, I don't know if they see. I mean, I think they see Sasha is about that big now, but I don't think they see Bianca or Bayley as big enough to be the main event of either night of WrestleMania. So I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. I could be totally wrong. I've been totally wrong about almost everything tonight. But I don't know. I don't see why they would do that, because it's kind of like neither of them can lose right now, but one of them has to. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, big win. Like, she has this win now. Same like Nakamura, same way. Like, yeah, he's done nothing, but he's always got the Royal Rumble. Like, that's just a feather in the cap no matter what. So, she can walk away from this year being like, I was on all 3 shows and I won the Royal Rumble and I had the longest time of any competitor in the women's match ever. So, I mean, a lot of accomplishments. It definitely doesn't hurt her that she did this. It just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Yeah. It feels like they did it too fast. It's the same if it's been the same if like Big E had won, actually. Because a lot of people are like, Big E's going to win. I'm like, so he can lose to Roman Reigns? Like, why would you do that? Roman Reigns is not going to lose unless unless it's like John Cena or The Rock. But Big E is not going to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So, you know what I mean? Like, I almost wish they would have had one of the older people or one of the more seasoned people, because they can go into WrestleMania and just, take an L. But we'll see. We'll see what Bianca does.
All right.
She did really well.
Yeah,
by the way, just not at all dragging her performance. She deserves it. I just feel bad because I don't see what they're going to do next.
Yeah, I guess so. You see it doing like when they just added Charlotte into that match that you went to, just cause.
Which I love. Charlotte's my favorite wrestler right now, but but it didn't make any sense.
What did really good tonight was Naomi was great too. She was a lot of fun.
The hair thing? Absolutely. That had to hurt. I mean, I don't know how that works because I've never had my hair like that, but with your hair, she used her hair to pull herself up. That had to hurt, Bianca, to have your hair just being tugged on for like 2 minutes. But
yeah, that's true.
You remember the show That's So Raven?
Yeah. I want to see how you tie this in.
I just every time I remember the great episode that features the hit. It will definitely be in an intro for one of these podcasts where it goes, Bianca says jump, you jump. Bianca says
you did it.
They just have to incorporate that somehow, some way. It's just every person I've only known like one Bianca in my life, and I always bring it up. One time I matched with somebody on a dating app named Bianca, and I said that unmatched. She didn't have a sense.
Oh, no kidding. That didn't work?
She was like, no. She's like, no.
Not this time. Not that time. Oh man, I hope. Trust me. One of my dreams is that date someone with like a famous song named after her, whether it was
play it.
Michelle, the famous.
What if it's Maria?
Maria.
So then you have to play that Brooks and Dunn song over and over again.
All the time. Maria.
You have to play that country 90s country song, super 90s country.
I'll go with the West Side Story version.
Oh, there you go. There's the second Maria. You're good. You're good.
Josie.
You got options here. You got options.
Oh man, there's that Family Guy joke where they just list every girl's name with a song after them, and I'm just gonna pound it.
You're just gonna wait. You're gonna wait.
Whoever's the one. Oh man. So just quickly with the music before we get into the last 2 matches is Bad Buddy. Bad Buddy. I mean, we hit there on that. Bad Buddy again. That's just my favorite
Look how excited he gets.
I think this is the one thing that Matt is like, I can talk about this super well. And so he's like, I'm not going to get any names wrong.
It's just so cool. Like, we all know Bleacher Report is going to push that one down. Any news outlets, Bad Bunny. And think about it. If there is some way that there could be clubs, whenever clubs come back, whether it's the summer, fall, obviously hope be ASAP, there will be people dancing to a song called Booker T.
And there'll be that one guy who can't dance, just sits like this the whole time.
Even he's gonna be nodding his head back.
Yes, exactly. He's gonna be the Booker T in the song.
Did we like Booker T's? I'm sorry. Did we like Bad Bunny spot jumping on the Miz and John Morrison?
He went up high. He went up high.
He
Like
did. He slipped though. He almost screwed it up. But
he had some air to him though.
He made it.
He did better than Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg dropped an okay elbow.
Oh, I just got nervous for him. He just was so lanky in that.
Well, yes.
You know what I would love? If whoever's watching the video, you're gonna see the transition from the SmackDown Royal Rumble to the Bad Bunny segment, and you're gonna see Matt's face go from straight to just grinning from ear to ear.
From ear to ear, yeah.
Oh my God, Bad Bunny for life. Seriously, I just wanted to breathe out because
their performance was odd. Because in the music video, Booker T does dance, correct? Booker T does a
I'm
thing.
sure there's a song. There's some
actual
2000
performance
song.
Yeah, but in the actual performance, the only thing Booker T did was his line. And the rest of the time, he just stood there, which is like a little weird. Because, again, Bad Bunny was like running around. He was very energetic. And Booker T was just standing there. Arms crossed, mean mug, and just standing there. And I was like, all right, I guess.
Like,
and then just
Booker
kept
T.
going. I was like, all right, he's going to do something now. No, he never did anything. He didn't move. Even when he said his line, he stood right there. And he just said his line. I was like, all right. But I actually thought Booker T might enter the Rumble. He's looking
I did too.
Yoked.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, again, I didn't think he was going to do a lot, but he could throw the Miz out, I thought. He looks like he's I think he's in good enough shape. I've wanted to see a King Booker return forever. I wanted to have King Corbin, Sheamus. I want to have all the King of the Rings in the ring. And then I wanted Booker T to just come out as King Booker, pinky high.
King of the Kings.
King of Kings, exactly. Toss out Corbin or whatever, but that's right. Man. We got, like I said, he looked cool in his gear or whatever. Like,
yeah, he did look compelling.
He looked tough.
Shouts to him. We've seen Gronk jump on WWE superstars. That Buddy now. I mean, we see
becoming a lot more popular.
Is there who else is what others is there any other celebs I'm missing who jumped off the top rope? I mean, we saw Mark Cuban go through a table.
Yeah.
We see
Machine Gun Kelly got put through a couple tables.
Yeah, MGK got power bumped. Yeah. Right off stage.
We saw Kevin Federline beat John Cena.
But that was a long time ago. Kevin Federline has since fallen way out of WWE's orbit.
Yeah, that's a bad example. But speaking of hip hop songs, Bad Bunny with Booker T. We seen Offset with the Ric Flair drip.
Who did we see at SummerSlam against with Seth Rollins against John Cena for the United States and WWE Championship?
John Stewart.
Yeah,
he got a chair shot.
That was my favorite. Yeah. John Stewart took a couple of big hits in that feud.
Who's the next old school wrestler to get a genuine mainstream popular trap song after them?
I don't know.
Stone Cold by Quavo or
Stone Cold no, it'd be featured Quavo. But I don't know.
Probably Undertaker.
Yeah.
Action Bronson doing a Taker song.
Undertaker's probably gonna get one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you'd think, and not that he's a good rapper, but like, you'd think because he did some type of rap, I'll call it rap, that John Cena would eventually get approached to do something with somebody.
He did a song with Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, I mean, like one about him. You'd have to assume if the trend continues, I mean, it's almost like it's low-hanging fruit. Just write a song about John Cena and then ask John Cena to be in it. He'll probably do it. He enjoys rap, right? So
yeah,
you think he's probably on deck for one of the bigger artists who think they could probably convince him to do the song with them. He's probably on deck somewhere.
All right. So we had KO. The last singles match was Kevin Owens against Roman Reigns, a last man standing match for the Universal title. And Roman Reigns takes it. You briefly hit on it before. AJ, what did you think of this match? You said it was your favorite of the night. Can you walk me through why that happened? Why is that the case?
I don't know. I kind of just thought like it was badass when they completely just went outside of the ring and they went to like the empty arena.
Yeah, that
Like
was cool.
yeah, it was almost like
That whole
Gladiator.
segment was cool.
Yeah, it was like Gladiator like, and then Roman's talking about like his ancestors and Kevin Owens' ancestors, and Kevin Owens is like, "What, bro? Shut up!" And he's like throwing him through tables, and he did the Swanton bomb. Me as a Jeff Hardy fan, I sat there and I was like, oh, "Don't make me cry." I don't know. Overall, though, just the match was great, and except for the part with Paul Heyman where he almost single-handedly made Roman lose the belt. You know what I mean? But besides that, yeah, overall great match. But what's next for Roman? That's what I'm really just thinking about right now in my head.
Maybe Edge.
Yeah, Battle of the Spears.
Daniel Bryan.
It's gonna be fun. But
that's who I thought was gonna win the Rumble. I thought they were gonna have Daniel Bryan win the Rumble, set up the Roman match. But
yeah, set up for the Roman.
Daniel Bryan is Daniel Bryan. He could probably get a championship match regardless. At this point in his career, you know what I mean? He's a bit of a living legend.
And just on the Roman and KO match, did you feel the same way, Ryan? Was this a classic? Was this a 5-star?
This was a really good match. It was fun. You could tell, like, I think they were trying to maybe borrow some thematic elements from some of what AEW has recently been doing with this. A lot of times we can forget that WWE is not in a box of screens. They can still do these backstage bits. The golf cart, I thought, was a clear nod to the Stadium Stampede match. Like a who could do it better almost. But I mean, my favorite moment, it wasn't favorite match because I already said I had a couple of issues with just like 2 issues with the Women's Rumble match. But Bianca, Charlotte, and Rhea at the end of the women's match was my absolute favorite moment. All 3 of them are super talented. I thought it was great. But this was better than the other 3 regular matches on the show. Obviously, I don't know. I really thought that KO was gonna take a quick loss. I didn't think they were gonna spend a lot of time on this match. They gave it a decent amount of time, and backstage I was like, is Kevin Owens gonna win? And then when he handcuffed him, I'm like, no way. I was like, how are they gonna get out of this? And then, like I said, Roman did that cool, destroy the referee thing with one hand. But I believed with the handcuffs especially. I was just running through my head how's Roman gonna get out? How's Roman gonna get out? It's like, I don't know how he gets out. I finally came to the conclusion we just have to see what happens. I'm officially out of ideas. I was like, nope. Kevin Owens is gonna win apparently, and I was like, this is crazy. And obviously he didn't, but they legitimately got me with that ending. Again, kind of took me out of it when it took Paul Heyman 4 years to get the actual handcuffs off. But I mean, if that had gone perfectly, if Paul Heyman had run over while the ref was knocked out and took him out, that would have been perfect. To me, it would have been perfect. It was flawless. But it was still, like I said, a crazy good ending. I still fell for it. Up until, like I said, right up until the moment that Paul Heyman showed up, and it took forever. I was just hook, line, and sinker at the edge of my seat, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, dude, it was just. Absolutely. I thought it was going to be slow, but you said it, Ryan, that they will just do this to make KO look strong. I don't like Kevin Owens. I think he's annoying. I'm just not a fan. I understand the value of his character rings, but he's just not for me. Yeah.
He's slowly becoming like the Big Show, though.
Hard
to tell if are we supposed to like him or not, depending on the week. Seriously. Not quite as bad as Big Show. Big Show is turned in several times in an evening. It feels like he'll be a good guy in the opening match, and then the main event will be a bad guy again. But Kevin Owens is getting it there too. He's a good guy, but then he's a bad guy. Then he's a bad guy with Sammy, but then he's a good guy with Sammy. Then he's a bad guy without. It's the whole thing. He just switches his alliances all the time. Which whatever. I mean, someone's got to. But right. I thought he did good. I thought the match at TLC was good as well. So, I mean, obviously he's done now for a while. I don't see him continuing to fight Roman Reigns. But you never know. I mean, Elimination Chamber, if they do the Universal Championship match, he'll probably be in that, right? I mean, who do they have? So
nobody.
Yeah, so I mean, he'll probably still be around the top. He'll still be messing with, the Usos or Apollo or whoever else is running with Roman. But like I said, it was good, and I mean, it served as like another highlight. It wasn't just the 2 Rumble matches people are talking about, especially with like the Goldberg match being all of 2 minutes. You had that issue where like, all right, other than the Rumble matches, what is this? What is there to watch? But now you'd be like, nah, watch Roman and Kevin Owens. They were pretty entertaining.
Right, definitely. So transitioning into that, the main event, the men's Royal Rumble for 2021, and Edge wins it all, last eliminating Randy Orton. This lasted 58 minutes and 30 seconds, and he's gonna get a World Championship match at WrestleMania 37. AJ, talk to me about what did you think of this decision, and what do you hope to see out of it? Like, where do you want? Would you like to see Edge wrestle against? And any other thoughts you have for this?
So first thoughts, like first thing that came to my mind when I saw Edge win, of course I'm happy. You know what I mean? It's Edge. I love me some Edge. But
it's hard not to be happy.
Yeah, I love me some Edge, and the way he reacted, it was so pure. Like he's getting his one last run in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's ripped. Like he's insane.
Yeah.
Like he's in like peak condition right now. So if he's gonna have one last run, it's the perfect time to have it. And at the end, the part with Randy Orton, my dad called it back. He was like, Randy Orton's technically not out of the match.
Yeah.
So the whole time in my mind, I was thinking about it.
My youngest brother said the same.
Yeah, so when he attacked Edge, I was like, I was about to be so upset. It was almost gonna single-handedly ruin the pay-per-view for me. If Randy Orton just came in and threw him out, I was like, okay. But then Edge just reversed it, launched him out, and I jumped out of my seat. I was like, let's go, Edge. You know what I mean? But I think no matter what, him against Drew or him against Roman, either way, it's gonna be very interesting. And I like how it can go either way.
Yeah. What do you think, Ryan, about what happened?
So I let Alexa Bliss ruin this match for me. I was like, because my girlfriend's like, Orton's not out. I'm like, yeah, but Alexa's coming. I was so convinced that she was going to like light him on fire or someone. I was convinced that they were going to have some Fiend-esque shenanigans toward the end of this match. And I looked at the match at one point toward the end, and you had Seth, you had Daniel Bryan, you had Randy Orton, who was not out yet. Like, he wasn't out there, but he wasn't out either. So, like, he could have come back in any second. Edge, Braun Strowman. I'm like,
Riddle.
He was out at this point. But I was like, Christian was there. And I was like, everybody in this match, with the exception of Edge and Christian, has been absolutely just dominated by the Fiend. I was like, every single one of these people. So I'm like, this is it. Here he comes. He's going to screw over Randy, or maybe even everyone, except for Edge and Christian, which I thought could have been interesting. Like, Edge and Christian just watch the Fiend destroy all of his enemies. And they're like, you know what I mean? Because the Fiend is insane. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, no Fiend appearance at all.
No Fiend at all. Just a quick little light thing in the women's match. So I don't know who. I think Edge has to go against Roman. Because again, Edge versus Drew, you either you want to be like, try and be like, oh, Drew's got to be another old timer, but like I'll boo Goldberg all day because I don't like him. He's boring, but I'm not gonna boo Edge, and I don't think I'm alone in saying that. I think most people are like, I'm not gonna boo Edge. Yeah, no. So you're probably gonna have your first match back with people, or first pay-per-view back with people, and you're gonna let your young champion get booed. Because he's got to beat Edge, right? Or not, because Edge beat him. But then you're like, Edge beat him. I don't know. It just, to me, it feels like Edge versus Roman makes sense. Edge wants one more run. Roman Reigns is like, this entitled asshole now. And Edge can spear the hell out of both the Usos all for the next 2 months without doing any actual wrestling, and then have a big match. And then if Edge loses his redemption arc to Roman, fine. Roman Reigns is the biggest heel in WWE, so that makes sense. Even better if he beats Roman, because you're like, Edge not only finally got his big win, finally got his return after being injured all those years ago, but he beat the biggest dick in Roman Reigns. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, it just makes more sense to me for him to head over to SmackDown. It's frankly, I think the show's doing better numbers right now anyway. So you might as well prop up the show that actually has a shot of getting more viewers. and just let him go after that. And then I don't know who fights Drew. Sheamus, I don't know. Drew's not going to have a lot going on, unfortunately. The only other option is Randy Orton beats Drew McIntyre for the title again, and then they do Edge versus Randy Orton. They run that
Or
back.
maybe The Fiend. That'd be interesting.
The Fiend would be interesting, but I don't know if he's coming back till WrestleMania. Yeah. I was actually telling Matt this. I was like, if they don't do Randy Orton versus Drew, I think they should have a Firefly Funhouse match between Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania.
Wow, that I would love.
And the Fiend should come back for that match. Obviously, you don't want Randy Orton just kicking the shit out of Alexa Bliss. The Fiend should be there for most of that match to run interference and to do most of the actual fighting. But it should be booked, like I said, because that is legitimately, with the exception of the Roman Reigns stuff, it's Roman Reigns Jey Uso is the best feud of like 2021 still. And I know it started in 2020, but it was also in 2021, I think. But other than them, it's Randy Orton, The Fiend, and Alexa. That's the number 2 feud for me. So like I think Edge should move along. He should leave Raw, leave Randy Orton in the past, let him do whatever the hell he's going to do with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. Let Drew fight Brock or Goldberg or AJ or whoever they end up putting in that match. And then the main event is obviously going to be Edge versus Randy Orton. Not Edge versus Randy Orton. Edge versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. I mean, it sounds like the biggest match they could do. It feels like the biggest match they could do. And it gives everybody else a chance to move on. So we don't have Edge constantly, beating up Randy Orton or something like that. You know what I mean? Just move everybody on, clean break. Don't have to see it anymore for a little while.
You have anything else to add on with this subject, AJ?
No, I completely agree with Ryan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. And so you think that, again, if your bold predictions now, final predictions, who do you think are their 2 main events? We'll start with AJ with that.
Like the men and the women, or?
Yeah, we'll go start with the men and then the women for both, like the 4.
Okay.
So probably I would say I'd probably go with Edge and Roman. And then Drew versus AJ Styles after that big run he went on in the Royal Rumble, AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
Probably go with that. And then women's Asuka versus probably Charlotte, and then Bianca versus Sasha.
Great. You feel the same way, Ryan? You have the same, almost same predictions, or anything?
I got the same, obviously, Edge Roman. I think that's the main event. That's the big one. I also think Asuka versus Charlotte is probably what they're going to do. Ray is kind of a weird mix in there, and Lacey's kind of weird right now. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think that Charlotte will probably wrap up with the 2 of them, at Elimination Chamber or whatever, to get the match with Asuka. But I think the other 2 are going to be triple threat matches, actually. I think that they're not going to do Bianca versus Sasha. So it's going to be Bayley, Bianca, Sasha. And that's just me being kind to Sasha Banks. They very easily could screw her over. They've done it before. So I think that triple threat match is the main event. And I think Drew's going to end up with multiple opponents too. I mean, off the top of my head, I'll say AJ and Keith Lee, or maybe The Miz and Keith Lee, something like that. It's gonna be kind of a mix. It's not gonna be anything special. Actually, to be honest with you, there's a real good chance The Miz cashes in at WrestleMania. Just skip for a reason to chase. I mean, he's quickly been just thrown down to this like afterthought. Like I said, there's several more important matches going into WrestleMania than whatever Drew McIntyre is going to do.
Which sucks because he's a champion.
Yeah, I'll go with a final prediction. I think Keith Lee's going to make his return. He's going to get in there. I think AJ is going to get in there. They're going to have a triple threat match, and then I think Miz is going to cash in. It's going to be the opening match of night 1.
And then get people angry, but hey.
Yeah,
Oh. Mhm. Not like they've not done that before. Just some brief last final thoughts on the
yeah.
men's Royal Rumble. How do we like the return of Seth Rollins? Is he gonna now? I guess he's technically back from maternity leave.
Yeah.
But do we see him making an impact in the main event scene, or is he gonna help push somebody? What do you guys think?
It would be interesting, right? Because Roman, they're both SmackDown.
Oh, yeah.
Roman is the champion, but they're also both bad guys now. And they're both kind of weird cult leaders in a way. I know Roman's not a cult leader, he's just his family, but they're both kind of looking for followers and whatever. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Seth Rollins ends up in like a Intercontinental Championship match.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. Maybe give Biggie something to do.
Yeah, Big E, Seth Rollins. That'll be a good match to give Big E a WrestleMania win.
Yeah.
Over somebody who's like really a contender.
Yeah, over someone who matters.
Yeah.
Someone who isn't Sami Zayn. No offense, I love Sami Zayn, but he doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you think,
Yeah.
AJ?
When thinking about it, I was gonna think maybe he was gonna come in as like face Seth Rollins.
Burn it down, Seth.
Yeah, burn it down, Seth, and maybe like it'll give somebody to build up to finally take over this dickhead Roman Reigns,
Right. They have
and it's
history.
like, and it's brother versus brother. Like then it's actually something we care about. You know what I mean? Like, okay, but he came back as the character he is now. It's cool. He's my favorite wrestler right now, personally. But I only think I can only see him as like maybe like doing a storyline type of thing, or maybe going for the IC title.
And maybe he's just gonna fight the Mysterios in perpetuity. We don't know.
Hope not. I hope
not either. But, I mean, Ray's still got one good eye.
Yeah, it's true.
Technically. And is there anyone else within these 30 superstars do you think whether they made a great run and lasted over 20 minutes or 30 minutes, whether you're a Riddle or Damian Priest, I know he did 15 minutes, but he had a good Rumble, 4 eliminations. Iggy, do you think there's anyone in this group that you would either like to see hopefully is on their way to even bigger pushes, maybe win the Rumble in a couple of years, maybe get a big contender match, or vice versa? You think somebody, one of these guys are on the brink of greatness? Like, I like Riddle. I mean, I've talked about, I think he could be an awesome face of the company eventually. He's very charismatic, funny, MMA background, fights barefoot for anyone who's anyone's into.
Rusev got in trouble for doing that.
But hey, he's Riddle and he's different.
First time he hurts his ankle, that's what happened. When Rusev was with the taped ankles, they let it go, and then as soon as he twisted that ankle in a match, they made him wear boots. So Riddle's got to keep his ankles as tough as possible, because if he breaks it, they're gonna make him put shoes on.
Yeah, we know ankle injuries are gross, but yeah, I think Riddle's someone I'd like to see. I think has a great future ahead. Do you? Any of you guys?
AJ, go first. I'm still thinking.
So this person didn't really do like much of an impact in the world, but it's been somebody who I've been thinking about like recently, who I think should not like get a push, because they kind of got a push, but it kind of got like absolutely destroyed. And I think it's
steal mine.
I think Ricochet.
No. Okay, you didn't say that. Cool.
Yeah. I think Ricochet. I think heading in before they fed him to Brock Lesnar, I think he could have been a really nice fan favorite, like somebody who you can make a bunch of toys off of, and kids would love him.
Ricochet.
He's like
Ricochet,
he's like a real life superhero. His name is Ricochet. You know what I mean? Like the guy flies everywhere. And he's just
I almost thought
overall,
I almost thought with the theme of tonight, with the comic book theme and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought they might actually do something cool with him, because for a while they did run with like look, he's like Nightwing, and he had the Nightwing or like Black Panther attire on, but like not really. So I almost agree. I thought they were going to do more with him tonight, actually, just because of the theme. Give him a couple really cool moments where you're like, look, he's flying.
Yeah, I think they should do with him too, though. I think they should pair him up with Mustafa Ali in Retribution. Get rid of Slapjack. Yeah, get rid of Slapjack.
Slapjack.
Get rid of these
sentimental favorite.
Get rid of these people that people don't really care about, and start using people that aren't really doing anything around, like a Ricochet. like pairing him up with Mustafa Ali and maybe I forgot his name. I think his name is T-Bar now.
T-Bar, which one is T-Bar?
T-Bar, what he was
Is
the
it
Russian in NXT.
Dijakovic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe keep him, but maybe they can do something with that. But
Dio
I don't
Madden's
think
not
they are.
ready. Whatever the third name.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I remember Slapjack, and that's it.
Yeah, simply us not remembering like any of their names like that simply shows.
I like Slapjack, by the way. When he's not Slapjack, it's Shane Thorne. I really do like Shane Thorne.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really sad that actually I want Slapjack to take over. I want Slapjack Mania. Make him a comedy character. Honestly, I want R-Truth versus Slapjack at every pre-show for the next year. For the Universal for the 24/7 title. Why
Imagine
not?
For the Universal.
Yeah, for the Universal title, that'd be one heck of an upside down world.
That's selling
Slapjack
tickets.
versus R-Truth, but
or we can get Otis and have Moto win for there.
Mr. Money in the Bank.
Former Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Former Mr. Money in the Bank. All right, guys. We've been really pushing this, having a great time. I've been enjoying this. First, do you guys want to do this again for WrestleMania? We should do
I'm down. I watch them anyway.
So
yeah, I'll watch it,
Have my panel. Cool. Awesome. I appreciate that. So I'll be in touch with that.
Jersey Boys round 2.
Round 2.
Oh, yes. So just a couple more funny thoughts just in wrestling in general, and we'll sign off here. I'm just gonna ask some just general questions and just tell me what comes to mind with them, whether a few things or one thing. Let me just ask these. And then just hopefully it leads to other funny things. Can you tell me your favorite wrestling memory, whether as a kid now? What's yours? It could be a few too. Well, we'll start with AJ with this one. Favorite wrestling memory.
RVD beating John Cena at ECW.
Really?
In the ballroom. Yep.
Why is that?
Simply because the way the crowd just absolutely erupted. Like it didn't look like it wasn't like a natural crowd. Like they had signs up and it looked like you were in a completely different world. Like this wasn't WWE. Like this wasn't Raw anymore. And you see like John Cena, the Soldier, like the main Vince's guy come in and just get absolutely like destroyed by the whole crowd. Everybody hates him.
Yeah, like
the RVD. It was insane. And then Edge comes in the middle of the match, spears him through a table, takes off the helmet, looks around, and runs in the back. You gotta love everything about it.
My middle school mind, I'm sure Ryan feels the same way. I thought that was like so much high stakes with that. I thought John Cena was.
Well, that match was kind of high stakes, but they squandered everything after.
Yeah,
they launched ECW perfectly. ECW should have been fighting for the WWE title for like 3 months if they really wanted ECW to be an actual show, but they didn't. So they
that fell on their face.
Yeah,
and then they built RVD like he was a bad guy. They should have built him like he was the savior of ECW.
He could have done like a cool Seth Rollins thing right now.
Yeah,
he was like a hero on ECW. He had a cult of ECW followers, but when he showed up on Raw and SmackDown, they booed the shit out of him.
Yeah,
he could have done a cool thing like that.
A lot of potential.
People love RVD too, man. The ECW third brand was such a joke and sad. Like at first, like I said, building up to it, you thought like shit was getting real. They had Kurt Angle go to ECW, but then he just left the company for many years after. Having the Sabus, the Tommy Dreamer, Sandman. Yeah, Push to CM Punk. You thought shit was
Johnny
real,
Nitro, I think. They had Johnny
Nitro was over there for a while,
just turned flat. And can I say, I was telling this, definitely the most hilarious nickname I've ever heard of a wrestler, and just so un-PC. Sabu's name was the suicidal, genocidal, homicidal Sabu. You're implying he's a genuine killer.
He's also Italian.
What?
In case you wanted to know.
You said what?
He's not I don't believe he's any Arab at all.
Oh, boy. And like Sabu. That was one match, Cena versus Sabu in Extreme Rules, was actually pretty cool, but again, that was it just Joey Styles just falling and just shows the disrespect, the ultimate power trip. Man. And crazy. I met John Cena, I think that weekend before.
Is that when we saw John Cena?
Yeah, because it was like the weekend of, it made sense, right? Go to
John Cena and Ashley Massaro, right?
Yeah, rest in peace. An hour away from where we were is the Hammerstein Ballroom in Manhattan. And, just transitioned with that.
I still have that. I still have those pictures somewhere. Yeah. Oh, you got it, Seth?
Oh.
I was looking over in the corner of the room and I'm like, that's something that.
Man, I wish I had found the Cena signature.
Oh, I have it. You can see it.
I don't have mine anymore. I don't know where it is. It's in my parents' house somewhere.
I don't know if you could see. It's on the between.
I see him. He's up top. I recognize the picture. I recognize the picture because it looks like the one I have. Because I got it 3 seconds after you.
Above Drake and Red Hot Chili Peppers, next to Lin-Manuel, The Rock, Ellen, Rage Against the Machine, Post Malone, Broad City cast. Pretty normal.
Pretty normal. He said, pretty normal.
So that was intense. I remember at school talking like the one time, this was pre-social media, and you actually told your friends like it was either sporting events or this, and
people would chant ECW back then in like middle school and high school. Yeah, seriously, they did it. People would chant ECW. It made a legitimate comeback with young people, and then it was really bad, and so we just stopped watching.
And they just had the Kelly just objectifying.
Well, no, I watched Kelly.
What year did that happen? That happened around like 2006, right?
2006, 2007, yeah.
Yeah. So I was only like 5. Yeah, I was 5 when it happened. And I remember
we weren't 5.
I remember when it happened.
We were double that.
They were like little. It was like almost like gangs. It was like, oh, what are you? WWE, or ECW?
We were like 12.
Yeah.
So we were the people who were chanting ECW.
ECW in West Roxbury.
Kids used to fight over it. They're like, oh yeah, you like ECW? Okay.
Yo, one of my old I don't know if you had him, Ryan, Mr. Anastasia, the science teacher, was a football coach, and he's like a legit wrestling Attitude Era. You have the also 316, and a lot of people showing that nostalgia who's around that age, like Big Cat, and from Part of My Take, and a PFT commentator for wanting. I think KFC's a wrestling fan.
This year was for us, man. Specifically.
Yeah, they're looking for
I don't know exactly how old you are there, AJ. Now that I know you were only 5 in 2006. But no, this year was definitely the 2000s. This Rumble was
the ruthless aggression era.
Ruthless aggression. They really should have brought the Thugonomics Cena out again, but I guess he's probably
Doctor
busy.
in Thugonomics band.
Dr. Thugonomics was my man. I used to walk around, and on my backpack I had a chain. I had a chain wrapped on it. It was the one that he used to spin around.
Yeah.
I had that thing, and it shined, and all my friends were like, "Oh, that's dope." And I was like,
my brother had that. When we met John Cena, he said to John, my brother Vern, he's like, "Hey, you like my chain?" And John Cena being John Cena, yeah, that's a cool chain. Yo, Ryan, that mall was packed that day.
It was really
packed. Wow, this show was like, man, people do give a shit. And like wrestlers used to go to that mall all the time.
They don't do it as much anymore, and then with COVID, obviously.
And the mall's probably closing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But that's yours. My favorite wrestling memory is I'll say the ones that I actually like saw. Because I could talk a match, like favorite match, we'll hit down that quick, but probably my favorite memory that was like oh shit kind of moment was Unforgiven 06 was the first like pay-per-view I got, and then it was the 2 matches, the McMahon's DX Hell in a Cell, which I thought at the time was pretty carnage. I mean, it is actually bloody and stuff. I thought there was a lot of stakes, but damn, there was just some really bad acting and storytelling.
Yeah, none of the people in that match were known for their acting ability.
Yeah,
it was like watching an old cheesy movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then see Cena beat Edge in that TLC Unforgiven when I thought I was on the line. And then you could see him, and I've heard like back, like he was genuinely mad that he won the match. He didn't want to win. Like he thought this would be a great chance to start a heel run. And you could see him visibly angry to win the match. It kind of matches the actual disdain, the real heat he got. So
in which match you talking about? You're talking about the Vengeance match with Edge and John Cena at the one in Canada, right? The one in Canada.
Toronto throws the 2, which is a really good TLC.
Launch him over the ladder in the 3 tables.
Yeah, which is a good TLC match. But
they beat Edge in Canada. What the hell were they thinking?
Yeah, that was crazy.
John Cena was like at that.
in his match too. In his
Yeah, like
TNT.
we want John Cena to be cheered. Let's be Edge in Canada.
Well, that's probably was the beginning of the end of then he like that. He held off for like a solid year of genuine like for Cena. Then what was it?
Yeah.
06 to like 16. They just thought they could throw it down your throat. And
It kind of worked, I guess. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
all kind of miss him.
Oh, and I also really liked I just really liked the Boneyard match at Firefly. I know that's recency bias, but it was just like someone who just loves
It's okay.
movies like that.
Mine
it's
are
like,
recent
cool.
too. So
I'll go with that. Like, wow, this is like I can show anyone this. So
Yeah, that's true.
those are my picks. What about you, Ryan? Your favorite wrestling memory?
yeah, so I saw the first ever Women's Royal Rumble live, and I saw the first
That's
ever
cool.
women's main event at WrestleMania live. So those were both big moments.
Where at and when?
Well,
For
the
those who
the
didn't know.
women's one was at MetLife. The women's
nice.
For
Mania,
WrestleMania 30.
Mania match, yeah, the Ronda Rousey,
Becky
Becky
Moore?
Lynch, and yeah, that match unfortunately didn't deliver to what I thought it would, but it was a historic match.
Well, I was
Everyone
there too,
was
actually,
excited. Yeah. Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
Kofi won that night too, so we were all excited. Like everyone was pumped because Kofi won.
Yeah.
So like just again, by the end of that match, I think everyone was a little disappointed. But going into that match, Joan Jett performed. Joan Jett got booed, which is hysterical. Because everyone booed a rock and roll legend just because she was doing the song for Ronda Rousey. But yeah, but like everyone was rowdy because Kofi had won. He beat Daniel Bryan, which was huge. And then so when it started, I didn't boo Charlotte. I love Charlotte. I was in the minority there though. Everyone else around me was boo, and I was like, yeah, Charlotte. I was like, am I the only one who wants Charlotte to win both these titles? And the answer is yes. And then when Becky came out, obviously huge ovation. Again, the women's Rumble match way better than the first women's main event at WrestleMania. Asuka winning was awesome. I was in Philly for that. Another really good crowd. And then again, because I don't want my only ones to be very recent, I would say one of my favorite storylines was the Rey Mysterio to WrestleMania storyline where he won the World Heavyweight title. I don't remember the WrestleMania number now. They all
comeback story.
But it was right after Eddie Guerrero had passed. Mm-hmm. Randy Orton crushed his hopes and dreams. Kurt Angle was the champion, and it became a triple threat. And I love that match still. I love the entrances. Everyone did awesome in that match. Rey won, which was perfect. I loved Rey Mysterio. So that's probably that's my older moment. I really liked the Rey Mysterio, for Ultimate Underdog to Heavyweight Champion story, from the Rumble all the way to Mania. So,
do you mind if I just add two other things that I really liked, like looking back that you
It's your show, bud.
Yeah. Anyways, my show. The other two quick memories that I liked was when Seth Rollins cashed in on Brock Lesnar. I was again that night. I was watching it on a live stream from my iPhone during a fraternity event. Everyone there like, I hate you, but blah, 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 blah. And I was chilling in the background looking at this. And I'm like, holy shit. I pointed out to my friend Jeff, who could not get leverage the shit. He's like, yo, bro, that's pretty cool. So that was pretty funny. And then second was when we saw WrestleMania 22, Ryan, your house.
Yeah.
That Mick Foley Edge.
Oh god.
I
watched that back. That's hard to watch.
Yo, man, the barbed
really
wire with a bat, you can genuinely damage a person for life. And just that you just put it through fire. He put it through fire.
Yeah, that's hard. It's hard to watch. Even harder to watch is Edge and Foley versus Terry Funk and who was the other one? It was an ECW person.
Was it Tommy Dreamer?
Tommy Dreamer, yeah. That was even harder to watch. I learned that as a kid, I really liked the hardcore stuff, but I think that's because I wasn't mature enough to realize how utterly painful all of that has to be. Because again, I knew it was fake from the beginning. My parents just told me immediately because I watched it a little older because I was watching it for my teacher. So like, none of this is real. Just blanket statement. Don't hit people with chairs. It's all fake. Cool. But because of that, for a while, I didn't really know how it was faked. I was just like, oh, it's fake. But like, there's no way to be comfortable doing the things that they were doing in that Edge and Foley match. Fake or not, there's no way to make that not hurt. And so I'm
It's
like,
crazy how
like,
You
perfect
can't
the
fake it. You can't fake it.
you can't fake the fire. Like you
It's
just
still
can't.
real to me, damn it.
And I'm like, an Edge very, Edge very well could have lost however many years of his career because of that match too.
Right.
I mean,
It's crazy how the Flame disintegrated after that. That's pure luck.
no, I'm sure they planned it a little bit. It wasn't a big fire, but I don't know. Just
crazy to me.
watching that back, I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I like cheered like a crazy maniac for that. That and the McMahon versus Shawn Michaels street fight at WrestleMania.
Oh, that was insane.
Because he's like a 60-year-old man in that fight. And I mean,
Yeah,
he's jacked. I wouldn't want to fight Vince McMahon. Maybe now. I could take him maybe now. Maybe. But at the time, for sure not. But I'm like, looking back, like, he's still 60-something years old.
No, the McMahons have special genes.
Yeah, he's getting absolutely annihilated. Because he also isn't a wrestler. So, like, he just takes it. He just takes the hits.
He just
He
takes.
doesn't know what to do. Yeah, he just falls
like,
on
hit
his
me.
face. Yeah. I'm like, this is insane. This is elder abuse. And but the elder's a scary, scary man. So
in the Hell in a Cell with Triple H, though I wish I didn't know, but now I know that that's his actual Triple H's actual father-in-law. He hits him girl in the back of the neck with a sledgehammer that just breaks it apart.
That's a weird that's a weird Christmas that year, huh?
Just that whole feud. Like, dang. Oh man. How does that the Spirit Squad?
The freaking Spirit Squad, dude.
Goats. Whole bunch of goats right there.
Hey, Mikey. Mitch. Mitch is Dolph Ziggler now.
We are the Spirit Squad.
Yeah.
Dude. You know, the Vince McMahon stuff alone. I mean, he shaved his head for a future president, even though we know what happened.
Yeah.
In 2007, what innocent times. It was cool. The host of The Apprentice gets stunnered.
Yeah.
Yo, guys, can you just quickly tell me what are just if we haven't touched already, just some other just insane things we've seen because of wrestling, whether it's a skit or a match or stuff. Like, for instance, we know about Paige and Xavier was getting caught with a sex tape.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What was funny is they implemented that in his story. He's like Kofi and Big. He's just like, "Yo, Xavier, you got something to tell us?" I'm like, yes, thanks for the balls for doing that. Or
and when the Usos talked about it on TV when they were doing the rap.
When they did the rap battle, yeah, Wale is the judge.
Yeah. That was
oh man, that's bad. They could not get that.
What other crazy moments have I seen?
I mean, this is crazy. A match, not crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, not crazy like that.
Just pretty
not
much
crazy
anything
Paige.
crazy you've seen
But
because of wrestling.
I used to watch a show. I used to watch a show called Lucha Underground as well, which is a wrestling show on El Rey Network. Had some people, John Morrison, Ricochet.
Yeah.
But he had a different name. He was Prince Puma in that one. And they had a match, actually, the two of them. And this is the first time I've seen it because, again, WWE would never do this, mostly because it's a 3-hour show. But they had one match. It was Johnny Mundo, which is John Morrison, versus Prince Puma, which is Ricochet, for the Lucha Underground Championship. And it was the entire show. It was just those two. And I watched. I was like, oh, my God. Like, an hour, compared to 3 hours, an hour is like, everyone's like, 3 hours is too long. Make it 2 hours. Make it an hour and a half, right? And then you watch two people wrestle for an hour and a half by themselves. Because, again, the Royal Rumble, Edge went for an hour, but he also chilled out in the corner, took 2-minute breaks, 5-minute breaks. Again, I couldn't do it. But theoretically, an athlete could do that. But when it's just two of you, there's no one else to, like, take the heat for you.
It's just another level. Yeah.
And watching that, I was like, this is insane. And, of course, it's an indie promotion, so they're jumping off of stuff. They're going through tables. They had they really liked the glass bulbs, like those long light bulbs you put in. And they just freaking smash the hell out of those. They explode when they hit too. So they like to just hit the shit out of each other with those things. And then I remember John Morrison took a super kick and just went limp and like fell off of the top of like the office thing. I'm not explaining it well because again, the way that it was set up, it was very high up, kicked, crumpled down, and fell.
Yeah.
It was where the office is, where Dario Cueto's office was.
Their
and
whole
just
setup
fucking
was
fell.
crazy. Yeah,
No, I really love that
show.
show. I wish that show was still on, but
Yeah, Matt, you need to check that out.
that one match in particular, I was like, oh my god,
3 hours.
One of them's just gonna die. This match will end when one of them just physically can no longer fight. And again, obviously you knew it was staged. This was not a long time ago. This was recently, a few years ago. But I was like, one of them's just gonna give up. John Morrison's just gonna be like, nope, I'm done. I'm retiring mid-match. I can't do this anymore, and just walk away while he can still physically walk. And it was just crazy to watch them just literally fight all over the place, jump off of everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, their whole set's crazy because like they have like a little office. Like it literally looks like a set that you could buy.
It looks like a sound. It was a sound stage.
Yeah.
Matt would know it's a sound stage. It's not an arena. They had the audience were in bleachers around the freaking ring.
Like I remember SNL or something.
Yeah, I remember the wrestler used to jump off the bleacher and hook on for the championships. I remember it was like a tag match. It was like a 3-way, and I forgot.
Yeah, because remember they didn't have tag teams. It's 3 people. It was trios. It was the singles championship and there was the trios championship.
And I forgot his name. He had black and green gloves.
Angelico.
He was my man.
Yeah, I love Angelico. He's on AEW now.
Yeah, he jumped off.
I like that name.
He jumped off the top of like the sound stage, and he landed on like 3 guys. Insane.
That team was awesome.
Insane.
That team was just
with the
random.
With the girl,
Ivelisse, Angelico, and Son of Havoc. And they were just insane. That team made no sense. That was the whole point of the team. They were like Shayna and Nia are now. None of them liked each other, but they needed a championship, and so they all teamed up for the trios title. But they ended up being my favorite team on the entire show.
And they had the belts for a little bit.
Yeah, no, they were. I think they were the inaugural champions. They won the tournament to crown the first champions, and they held on to it for a little while. But yeah, that show was crazy. But that match was crazy, and I was like, man, that's what made me want to go to an indie show. I've not been to an indie show yet.
Like a high school place like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would do that too. But like to go to one of those like sounds that I would want to go to like a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla or like a Ring of Honor or something like that. Something a little bigger where I might be able to know 1 or 2 of the people. But yeah, that's what made me want to do one of those shows where like the fans are kind of involved. Because in wrestling, the big wrestling promotions, the fans are in the back and they're watching the show. But in these smaller ones, the fans are a part of the show for sure.
It's like anytime I got nervous if I saw like New Jack wrestling.
Oh well, no, I wouldn't do that. I'd be afraid I'd say something too loud and I'd get stabbed.
Oh my
god! Genuinely. Oh man, the story.
He's a genuinely scary person. Like he's not a wrestler. He's a scary person. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
Absolutely insane.
Watch the Vice thing on him.
Yeah, but
the Dark Side of the Ring on New Jack. Really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
First thing he said, than that, OJ's my homeboy. Like when he was on trial.
That's the worst thing.
I don't know. I'm just getting what I heard. Who knows?
Yeah. If I was his lawyer, I'd be like, don't say that. Why are you saying that? Chill.
Oh man, what a time.
Worst thing I heard is when he said he missed when he was trying to throw that guy, and they're like, "Did you try and throw him through those tables?" He goes, "Nah, I was trying to miss the tables." What?
Human beings, man. Human beings, and I guess the other one thing is just seeing Undertaker throw off mankind.
Oh my god, Undertaker! I totally forgot about
person
that.
knows.
I had I forgot to tell you about this. I went to this is when John Moxley was still in WWE as Dean Ambrose, and it was when he had the IC belt and he took it from this was after Roman Reigns announced he had leukemia and he left.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Dean turned on Seth and then took the IC belt off him.
Yes.
I had one of those live shows at Madison Square Garden. And I knew that they were going to face, and we all knew that they were going to take the title off Dean at a live show. So it was just more of it was more of just to see them wrestle. And they turned it into a steel cage match. It was the most insane thing. They went for about 45 minutes, just strictly wrestling in the middle of the ring. And it was really good. And then I remember that's all we were promised. And we're like, okay, cool, let's leave. And all you hear is all the lights turn off, right? And the Undertaker music hits. And we're all like, no way. And then they fooled us. They turned it off, and they were like, "Just kidding, just kidding."
Ah,
Oh man.
Ah.
that's mean.
And then, yeah, and then they pulled out with the John Cena music, and we're all like, "John Cena's not here," and then he actually comes out.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh,
Yo, the
Crazy.
I've heard those live shows are better to go to.
They're fun. I've been told. Like I said, the only live again to the WrestleManias and stuff. But I went to Raw live, but it's TV,
Right.
so like they have a lot of breaks
Yeah.
and stuff. Whereas
Yeah.
like a live show, there's no breaks. It's
They can do
just
whatever
the
they
show.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But that would be cool to go to one of those too. But
we
yeah,
definitely,
those are definitely fun."
definitely should in a non-COVID world. But yo,
I want to go to
guys,
AEW. The only problem is they don't tour really.
Oh yeah,
They're
Yeah,
based out of Florida, so I'd have to
yeah,
get down to Florida.
yeah, an
Hey.
AEW show.
you don't need. They'll let you in there.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to be there. We'll give it some time.
Definitely.
Yeah, I
won't.
don't know if I want to go right now.
You could take a break for that. But yo, guys, we've been killing it for a long time. I really enjoyed this whole convo. I hope you guys had just as much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
And again, I definitely want to do this again for Mania if you want to. Both of you.
I'll
guys.
be around.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
It's 2 nights though, so you got to do 2 of them, or you're gonna wait till the end of the night 2.
I feel the end of night 2 would make the most sense, but
I agree.
it'll be epic
Yep.
though, and they'll have a lot of good things to talk about. But
We have to write some notes down for day 1 and then head into day
Paul Burchell's gonna come back as a pirate. That's my
2.
guess. It's my guess.
Favorite. But yeah, we'll definitely do this again in April, and then just other productive conversations in general, wrestling and non-wrestling involved. But you guys are awesome. You know, I'm huge fans of
Absolutely.
both of you. Just thank you
Thanks.
so much for taking the time for doing this. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
Pleasure to
absolutely.
be here.
All right, but I mean, after this, is there anything else you guys want to say before we sign off?
No, that's it. Watch the tweet cap.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I'm all.
right.
Yeah, I'm all good.
All right, definitely check out the Tweet Cap on all podcasting platforms and YouTube. And these are my 2 amazing guests. Seriously, I'll go as far as top 10 people
Yeah,
I
dude,
know in
too
this
sweet,
world
baby.
right now. I mean that. Anthony Fernandez, Ryan Pace, couldn't thank you guys enough, and you guys are the best. Thank you
Nice
guys.
talk to you
No
guys.
problem, guys.
All right,
Hey,
with
great
that,
talk, guys.
have a good night, guys.
All right, have a good day, guys.
Good night.